Alright, Kimbo White here. I'm going to do a few things here. Update the race, review these fights, and probably throw my 143 picks up too, actually. Just do it all in this video. Chris Camozzi beat Dustin Jacoby with the guillotine choke, third round. Was a pretty good fight. LeVar Johnson, really impressive over Joey Beltran. I said that he had Shane Carwin, Brock Lesnar power. After tonight, I think he can hit as hard as anybody in MMA. And I've seen most of LeVar Johnson's fights coming up through Strikeforce Challengers and all that. And he has took his striking game up another notch a little bit, I think. Using the jab real nice. Just really beat the tar out of Beltran, man. And none of us thought he could knock him out, and he did. Honestly, pretty sure Beltran was out cold. He was out cold, laying on his face, and I think the speculation's probably right. I mean, I think Beltran should probably drop to 205 after this, and it'd be interesting to see Beltran at 205. That fight would get a pretty good draw in itself. People would like to see that. Michael Johnson edges out Shane Roller, one of the underdogs on the card that won. That was one of these fights that could go either way. Was really, this was a card that had so many seemed like for sure favorites. They had a lot of underdogs that could easily win. They weren't. I don't think they were big margins in the favorites. But I don't look at betting odds, so I don't know what they were. But I give Michael Johnson more credit than a lot of people, and I almost picked him in this fight, but I felt like, I think personally that Roller won the fight, but it was one of those things you can't leave in the hands of the judges. I picked Roller, and I think he won, but like I said, you can't leave that in the hands of the judges when it's that close, and that was close. Oliveira with a sweet submission over Wisely, calf slicer / heel hook. Cub Swanson pulling out the victory over George Roop, who I normally don't pick, and I did, and it bit me in the ass. But I didn't really mind seeing Cub Swanson get a win there, and I'm not a big George Roop fan to begin with, but I was rooting for him to give me the damn win there. But whatever. Mike Russo did what we all thought, utilized his edge in the quickness department and takedowns to put Animo on the mat, avoid the submissions, which Animo gassed by the second round. I never even really got any submission attempts off. Just laid there and guarded the whole fight. It was extremely boring. Russo got the unanimous decision. Dunham, Nick Lentz's eye is the reason why I would not want to be a fighter, because I tell you what, I watch a lot of fights, and I watch fights all the time, almost on a daily basis. If there's not pro fights on, or I'm not watching fights to do these prediction videos, I'll sit and watch street fights on the internet. And I'll tell you right now, Nick Lentz's eye almost turned my stomach twice. That shit looked gruesome. And that only happens every now and again. TKO doctor stoppage in the second round for Evan Dunham, who really poured it on in that second round, man. First round was close. Second round, Dunham just beat the tar out of Lentz. Weidman, awesome, man. Beats Sakara on 2-week notice. Beats Damian Maia on 11-day notice. Wow. We got to give this guy a top-level fight and give him 8 to 12 weeks to train for it. And I'm ready to see Chris Weidman fight somebody top tier. If he can beat these level guys on just days' notice, give this guy a training camp a real camp where he trains to fight somebody. Give him the top 5 guy. I want to see it, because that, to me, this fight was impressive. It was a very, very close fight. To be honest, this fight, the Sonnen fight, and the Roller Johnson fight, those 3 fights could have went either way in the hands of the judges. They all ended up unanimous decisions, but they weren't that decisive. They could have went either way, and I'm sure the judges were kind of throwing them back and forth themselves a little bit there. But yeah, Weidman, good showing against Damian Maia, and I have to go back and watch it. But yeah, I have to go back and watch. But I'm not really sure which rounds he was more dominant in, and because I just need to go back and watch it again. Rashad Evans made Phil Davis look like an amateur, like we all thought. It's really kind of sad to see, but it's a good learning experience. Like they said, it's Phil's first loss, and to go 9-0 and have the wins over the guys that he's got wins over, and to get your first loss against Rashad Evans, like Joe Rogan said, I mean, this dude's still, you know, he's still a top prospect, and he's still going to do things in MMA. He's still going to be a force to be reckoned with. You know, we'll see who picks him up and wants to work with him from here. So that's that, and see how much time I got left here. About 9 minutes. I'll put an annotation right up here for about 30 seconds here and do a prediction race update. Everybody's 6-4 tonight, except for BCMVP 11, who I believe was 4-6. But not a great night for any of us, so it is what it is. The standings really didn't change any except for the numbers a little bit. So that is what it is. And now I think I just try to do this pretty quick. I got 8 minutes left. I'm going to run through them for the most part. So I guess I'm going to start at the top this time again. Give these top fights a little bit more talk. Diaz and Condit. Diaz, obviously, everybody that isn't new to the sport knows. Cesar Gracie black belt, triathlon winner, you know, cardio for days, best boxer in MMA, if you ask me, going against Carlos Condit, the natural born killer, who is, you know, Muay Thai and stand-up specialist, kickboxing, Muay Thai. And Brazilian, you know, he's a BJJ and a boxing guy too, but nothing on the level of Nick Diaz. He's a purple belt jiu-jitsu. Training out of Jackson's camp, though, in Albuquerque, which is always a plus. And, you know, this fight, it's awesome, man. It really is. It's as good a fight as anybody could ask for on paper, and when you watch it, you have my guarantee that it will be fireworks. It's going to be awesome. That said, I am going with Nick Diaz in this fight, and I think we probably a 4th or 5th round stoppage. Maybe even in the 3rd round, late 3rd round stoppage, because I don't think Condit can take the beating that Penn took. And Penn, at the end of the 3rd round, BJ Penn, the only thing that was holding him up was heart, because his knees, I don't see how his knees didn't go. I just think he locked his knees underneath him and said, okay, I'm going to take this beating. You can knock me out, and I'll stay standing leaning against this cage, because I thought Penn was going down, and he almost did a few times. And he stuck Nick Diaz good, Penn did, with his little right jab when Nick would come in with his you know, power shot. He got stuck a couple of times. He'd go from his jabs to his power shot, and he got stuck. He got stuck coming in with his jab a couple of times by Penn's jab, and that's what everybody thought would end the fight, and it didn't. So with that said, I don't think Carlos can drop him either, and I don't think that Condit can take the beating from Diaz. So I'm taking Nick Diaz in that fight. Fabricio Werdum, I gotta take over Roy Nelson. It's gonna be a good fight, but I gotta take Fabricio over Roy Nelson. I gotta take Josh Koscheck over Mike Pierce. You know, I don't think this is a clear cut. Mike Pierce is a beast, so you know, they're both good wrestlers, primarily wrestlers that have been improving their stand-up game, and I just think Koscheck is probably on the next level for Mike Pierce. But we'll see. Pierce is a beast. Scotty Jorgensen over Renan Barao, cautiously, because well, I mean, Barao's dangerous, but anybody who knows, Scotty Jorgensen is no punk, and takedown defense, and you know, some of the thing is, if Barao's winning the stand-up, Jorgensen is not scared one bit to take a black belt to the ground. And I just sat and watched the fight with Jeff Curran, and he's a second-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, and Jorgensen took him down 6 times, and was really never really in that much of a threat of a submission. And you know, Jeff Curran is like I said, second-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, and went for the submissions the whole fight, but pretty much got kept in his guard and got pointed out, held down, and probably what will happen to Barao if Jorgensen can't win on the stand-up game, which he'll probably try. But Barao's got good hands, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. I think it'll probably be similar to the current fight. Ed Herman versus Clifford Starks is interesting, but I don't think Herman's not going to stand with Clifford Starks. Not that he's scared to, but he's not going to. He's going to expose his strengths that are Starks' weaknesses. Excuse me. His strengths that are Starks' weaknesses. Which Clifford Starks, you know, is a good wrestler, but not the grappler and jiu-jitsu practitioner that Ed Herman is. Ed Herman is, yeah, he's a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and you know, Ed Herman is an instructor of martial arts, has been in the game for many years. To be honest, you know, it's been a while now since he was on Ultimate Fighter. Let's see, which Ultimate Fighter he was even on. The very first one, Kendall Grove. Yeah, I believe it was the first Kendall Grove. Oh, third one. That's right, Kendall Grove wasn't the first one. Okay, Ultimate Fighter 3. Yeah, that's been a while back. So, which one we're on now? We're getting ready to start 15. Ultimate Fighter 15. So 12 seasons ago. Since then has changed greatly, and was a good fighter back then. So I gotta take Ed Herman, way more rounded than Clifford Starks, who, by the way, is undefeated, and I think is going to get his first loss. I got 1 minute left here. I'm just going to blurt them out. Dustin Poirier over Max Holloway. Matt Riddle over Jorge Lopez. I'm going to take Alex Bruce Leroy Caceres over Edwin Figueroa. Matt Brown over Chris Cope. Should be a good fight. I'm going to take Rafael Natal over Michael Kuiper. And I have to look into the Dan Stittgen and Stephen Thompson fight a little more. And I'll just put that in a little annotation right up on whichever side that is there. As soon as I figure that out, I'll put it up here. So, you guys have a good night. It's been the last word with Kimbo White.